The basic naval skill is seamanship. So the more we know about the sea, the better. And from really close quarters, such as the deck of a small sailing boat.
About the foresail. The leading edge must be tight. So you must make sure that it's fastened very low down here, and when it's pulled up, the knot does not reach the block at the top. Then you'll get a nice fall.
You can feel very far from the water in a modern warship, and that's why everyone, no matter what job he ends up doing, is shown how to sail a boat. It may be the only time he really comes face to face with the sea.
Right, must be tight. Let the feet go.
I'd never even been in a put-put boat before, never mind sailing, but I want to have a go at the mirror.
Line.
We've been down here about 6 times so far,
On the gaff.
and they send us out in all sorts of boats.
Right down to the gaff is a hole. We can now put the main into the hole and slide the sail up. If one of you slides it...
Since I've been here, my knowledge has increased a real lot. You can come down here most nights and weekends and really learn.
Sailing experience is really good to have, and you can take it up as a hobby, and I like it as a hobby. It's really fantastic. Doing something, if I hadn't joined the Navy, I wouldn't have done at all.
You know, I'd rather do sailing than I would handle a powerboat or something like that. There's more to it.
Why did I join the Navy? Oh, I just wanted a life at sea. When I joined up as a boy seaman, you know, I was all out to go sailing, and I went to my DO and said, can I go sailing? And it was built up from there.
I think most people join the Navy to get afloat, and that's why the experience at Raleigh is so valuable. It's probably their first and sometimes their only introduction to sailing, and when they go from here to jobs like engineering or chefs in the galley, they have an appreciation of seamanship and just behaving correctly in small boats. And they frequently use small boats for leave or recreation in foreign places.
Well, I started sailing when I was very young, and even before I joined the Navy. But since I joined the Navy, there's far more opportunity to do so, because all the ships carry at least one dinghy, and one is encouraged really to take to the water.
At all the establishments where you have yacht clubs, and there are a lot of them, the Wrens play a very big part in crewing, and some of them become very experienced helmsmen and so on.
The main sort of boat is the bosun. This is the recreational dinghy for the Navy. Anybody who's qualified can come to this centre and use those boats. All they do then is phone up, book a boat, come down here, take the thing away and bring it back.
Competition in bosuns can get terribly tense, terribly keen and needle. There are some startlingly good helmsmen about in bosuns who could knock spots off the high-priced helmsmen from the Fireball Leagues or the 505 Leagues and whatever.
3, 2, 1, start.
from bosuns into a higher performance boat. It's a nice light boat, it's fast, it's thrilling.
Yeah, it's more the exhilaration, it scares me half the time.
We went to Stokes Bay because they have a big fireball fleet there anyway. We have 8 fireballs in our fleet and charter our boats for £30 a year from the Portsmouth branch of the RNSA. Well, to tie up a new fireball now with all the mod cons we have would be in the region of about £600. At £30 a season, it's a gift to me, frankly.
If you do capsize or anything like that, just don't panic. They'll send a fast rescue boat and he'll put you right. If you can't right yourself, that is.
The RNSA is the largest sailing association in this country, with many world-famous yachting personalities as members. We provide expert advice and a great deal of financial assistance to our members in the form of direct grants, interest-free loans to buy boats, yachts chartered out at low rates, and so on. We've got branches in all the major naval ports who generally run the local races and encourage sailing in all its forms, as well as having representatives in many ports overseas.
I don't think there's any other life like the sea, really. It's marvellous. Even though I do get seasick, I'm a terrible sailor. But, you know, you just got to fight these things.
Since I've joined here, I've sailed whalers, ASCs, and the big ones. I forget what they're called, 27-foot hurleys, I think. We went out in those last week. And this weekend we're going out into the Channel for a weekend in one.
Progression from sailing a cruise offshore then goes to racing offshore. Racing is different in that you have then the challenge of all the other yachts, and the question of outwitting the opposition in the tactics of the game, navigating better than the other chap, and getting that extra quarter of a knot to windward, which is so vital in the race. And every sail has got to be trimmed exactly to get your maximum benefit. I'm now converted to ocean racing as my real enthusiasm. I find that cruising is a bit tame. You get the best people sailing competitively.
I think when I go sailing, I particularly like cruising because you can go just where you want. You can end up in some gorgeous creek or some river and cook a meal. Racing is very competitive and people seem to somehow get really tense about it.
today. Anticyclone 1014.
You're in ocean racing to win.
Well, it is exhilarating going along at 9 knots. And to see that spinnaker go up, you know, you just set it yourself, to see it break out, if it breaks out, that is.
There's a tremendous thrill in having your spinnaker up and going downwind at perhaps 8 knots and maybe surfing on the wave and you'll get up to 10.
It's a very rich man's sport, sailing, and this is the only way someone in my income bracket can do this sort of thing.
I doubt if in any other sphere you can get into a millionaire's yacht